Wait, we need to ask the question. What's the gap between that Steph and this Shai? What's the gap? Because Ox said he clears.
I think it's substantial.
Why?
So
Because I think that Steph is one of the 15 best players we've ever seen. I don't think Shai's in close to that realm.
So Penn, we'll
right
start with
now.
you. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I don't think
let's,
Shai
I'm
is
not talking.
close to
I'm not talking
No.
like Shai's whole career. I'm saying
No,
Shai,
I don't think
24.
Shai right now is playing at
Yeah.
a level that is in the top 15 of all time conversation.
So
He's
Penn,
right now, in my opinion, in the top 5 players in the league conversation. Like Steph,
He's
Steph
not in the conversation. He is the conversation.
Well,
Okay,
you're not doing him any
let-
favors by throwing a perennial MVP candidate into the top 5 conversations.
right?
yeah,
It's
but he's
him,
still in
Tatum,
the top 5
Jokic.
conversation. That's what he is.
Giannis. That's it.
Right?
That's
Would
it.
that be okay?
Embiid
So
not
And
playing.
Mars, he's in the conversation with 3 other historical players too.
I agree.
So it's
I agree.
not it's not just like he's just
But
in there.
Steph was like the players in the top 5 conversation in 2017. They were in the conversation against historical players in LeBron, KD, and Steph.
That's true.
It's the same
That's
thing.
true.
Steph was the historical players. In today's game, it's
100%.
Jokic and Giannis. They're the historical players. And maybe I don't know how you feel about Luka, but like Shai's the non-historical player right now, being compared to the historical players. Steph was the one who was the historical player.
Okay.
That was a unanimous MVP if you want to go the accolade route, or just one of the most dangerous offensive weapons we've ever seen. That's not what Shai is.
that's
And
not
that's no
what's going
disrespect
on
to
with
Shai.
Shai
I'm saying he's not.
Gilgeous-Alexander.
No,
Steph
I'm
Curry.
not going to say that y'all hating on Shai, but yesterday I had Chilltown tell me that Luka does more stuff. And then I watched the game and I saw Shai do a hell of a lot more stuff. So
Shai does stuff.
does defense matter?
Yes,
He
it
does.
does.
Shai's a better defender. Does
Substantially.
rebounding matter? Because he's a better rebounder.
There's
Does paint
marginal
finishing
value.
matter? Does
Whoa,
anything inside the arc matter?
Hang on for a second.
Oh.
Hang on for a second.
Hey,
Hang
oh,
Hang on for a
What
second.
nerve have I struck?
Well, you
I don't
said
know.
that he said that he's a better rebounder. If I'm not mistaken, I watched Steph Curry almost average a triple double in the finals in 2017. He almost averaged double digit
5-game
rebounds.
series of
This is
averaging 8
anecdotal,
rebounds.
right.
I'm sorry.
Fair.
Nah,
You don't have
no.
to, Mars. You don't have to appreciate that, even
on
though
Come on
considering
now.
what
Come on
Cleveland's
now.
considering what Cleveland had, with having one of the best offensive rebounders in the game, with having James, arguably the best small forward rebounder in the game. So they had rebounding, and Steph Curry stuck his nose in there and got on the glass as the lead guard. Nobody else was doing that. Kyrie Irving wasn't doing that.
But chill, what are we doing?
LeBron doesn't really go for offensive rebounds, so he wasn't battling with LeBron.
Either way though, Mars. Either way though, whether he does or doesn't, are we putting since SGA developed a little pull up 3-ball? We're putting him in conversations with 2017 Steph Curry.
He ain't even really developed he just shoots it a lot more now. It's still not.
I just want to be clear what conversation we have.
Well, I think
that's
Penn's
the
trying to make the
conversation we
case
have
that it's not as wide of a gap as I guess me and you alluded to. But for me,
Okay,
like,
well, I mean that's
we're
fine.
talking about 2-point guards.
Hold
Like
on.
the rebounding gap, like even if Shai is the better rebounder, which he is, and he is substantially better defender, the rebounding in particular is so marginal of a thing. Like I don't think that makes up for the wide offensive gap that Steph's gonna have.
I'm giving you the edge.
matter.
Okay. I'm saying like it's not like Shai's a terrible shooter.
No,
He's a good
not.
shooter.
Money mid-range game.
Inside the arc, rebounding plus play. I think playmaking is honestly pretty even between these two. Playmaking talent is pretty even between these two. Okay. Neither one of them are Chris Paul.
With the ball.
Playmaking, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
passing
Okay, I'm
specifically.
with
I'm taking Shai as a scorer. I'm taking Steph as a shooter. Okay,
I'm with you, Penn. Keep going.
Because last year
shooting and scoring the ball.
it's
Well,
Like-
you
like,
score
I get-
with shooting.
It's
No,
different.
that's what I'm
By
saying. It's like,
shooting,
like I
I
get
mean,
what
but
you're
that's
saying,
not the
Pete,
whole thing, though.
but-
That's not the whole thing when you. And that's the point that Penn is alluding to.
No,
man.
I get
It's
that.
not
But
just
Steph Curry
because
and
you
Shai
shoot-
talk.
just because you
Steph
shoot the shit out of the
is
ball
shooting.
doesn't mean you're a better scorer. And that's what Penn is
No,
alluding to. But keep going, Penn.
when you shoot
Nah.
like Steph, it's
Steph
kind of a
shoots
strong
score.
argument.
Yes.
No, man.
And
Like,
Steph gets to the rack courtesy of his shooting.
I think what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander does is harder. Okay.
Yeah.
Primarily because it is more with the basketball than without the basketball. And therefore, I think it is slightly harder to stop in a playoff setting. Number one. Number two, last I checked, Shaquille O'Neal, your cousin, Chilltown, got on the air when Nikola Jokic was being presented an MVP last year and said, no disrespect, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should have won it. So my question is, if he could beat Nikola Jokic for MVP, and we say Nikola Jokic is one of the best offensive players of all time, if not the best offensive player of all time, then why can't he clear Steph?
I hate to step in and interrupt this intense yap session that you're currently watching, but I just have to inform you on all the amazing, spectacular, fabulous, endless ways to play and win over at Prize Picks. Basketball fans, I know the season is just tipping off. Yes, I know this. But you know what that means? It means that you have an opportunity to pick your favorite players and their matchups that are the most thrilling, and you can win money from these. With Prize Picks, you can play daily NBA contests and test your hoop knowledge by choosing the player projections and every single stat line imaginable to make your Prize Picks and take home some nice hard-earned cash. Are you a rookie in the game? Don't even sweat it. I got the playbook for you right here. All you have to do is download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and you will get $50 instantly when you play 5 here with Prize Picks. So what are you waiting for? Download Prize Picks, use promo code PANEL, and join me as we break down all of our amazing daily picks right here on the panel. Prize Picks. Run your game, control your game, win your game. It's easy, baby. It's easy.
The
Are
reason
you
why
trying to tell me? Hang on. Are you trying to tell me that Jokic is worse than Steph substantially?
I think we argue in two
But
different
beating
things.
someone for MVP doesn't mean you're better than him. AI beat Shaq for MVP. He wasn't better than Shaq. Like,
and not only that,
and it should never happen. But I love the AI, so I'm not even gonna push against it. I'm gonna look the other way. I'm gonna say, all right, cool. I'm happy that AI won it. AI was great, but what I'm saying is this Shai is so underrated. It's insane. So I'm almost
underrated
like,
in what aspect, though, Pen? When you say
underrated because he
I
plays in a
agree.
small market, underrated because he hadn't won a championship.
I agree he's underrated, but that doesn't mean
if he's in Miami, if Shai is in Miami, are we having a conversation that Shai's the best player in the game? If he's in Miami,
I don't get how this. I
Just
feel like either
because you're not the
lower on
best player in
Steph
the
or
game
something's
does
going
not
on.
mean you're not better than 2017 Steph.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
2017 Steph wasn't the best player on his own team.
No, I
Shai wouldn't be better than Kevin Durant either.
I say the gap is just as big.
But I want to rewind because you just
I
mentioned.
feel like you underrate Steph. That's where I'm at.
I'm not underrating Steph.
Yeah, you are.
I put Steph in my top 10 all time. I
Yeah,
just
you
think
are.
y'all are underrating. I think y'all are underrating Shai Gilgeous-Alexander
You have someone
because
in
you're
your top
not
10 all time, and
because
you're saying Shai is just as good as him.
it's hard to
Put Shai
compare
in the
a
top 10.
26-year-old to a 36-year-old because you already seen the best part of the 36-year-old. So you're coloring all of that into your perspective on him. But Shai could be just as good. Like, we are talking about a guy who was a top 3 finals, MVP, who's leading a really great team at 25.
Right.
Okay. That's not any less than Steph.
Steph was an NBA champion at 25, but okay.
And not only that, Mars, to compound this point, I mean, Penn, you just told me that Shai was able, well, he was close to beating out one of the best offensive forces that the NBA has ever seen. So Steph is coming off of a season where he was considered the best offensive season in NBA history. That's the season that he's coming off of, going into the 16-17 season. That's the guy that we're dealing with right now. And we're dealing with that guy who couldn't beat out a guy who's coming off one of the best offensive seasons, one of the best offensive players in NBA history. So when I think about everything that Steph Curry did, the attention that he attracts, the long ball shooter that he is, how good he is off the dribble. He will compete on the defensive end. I don't think that Curry is a better defender than SGA. He will compete on the defensive end 100%. He was one of the better finishers at his position in the league that year at the rim. 100% he was. So in terms of the gap between Steph Curry and SGA in going into the 2016-17 season and SGA today, I think it's like this. I don't think that SGA is close to him.
Okay. Mid-range scoring. Who's better?
Shai.
SGA.
At the rim. Who's better?
Shai.
Okay. Who's better getting to the line?
Shai.
Curry doesn't shoot that much. He doesn't shoot that many free throws. I think he shoots like 5 or 6 free throws a game.
He shot 4.5 per game in 2016. Shai is literally doubling that. As a defender, who's better?
Shai.
Who's more versatile? Positionally, who's more versatile? Who can play more positions offensively, defensively?
Shai.
Okay. So make the argument without saying he's a better shooter.
So we do okay. I want you to keep this.
You're just doing the checklist argument, and I think the checklist
It
argument
is a good
disingenuous.
argument. It is
I
a
think it's
good
a
argument
stupid
because
argument.
because
It
because
is.
I do think it's a stupid
the
argument.
It
no
is a dumb
the
argument because
shooting the
we could do the
shooting
same
is a
thing with Ben
context of the
Simmons.
system. No, the shooting is a context of the system. You cannot like on the one hand you want to remove Steph Curry from the context of the team that he was in. Draymond and Clay and the spacing that creates a lot of value for Steph. Okay, playing around other great players helps him. I'm sorry, we saw Steph play next to KD and Clay, and I don't think that necessarily we've seen a full season of Shai playing with that kind of talent. Okay, he's a player who also benefits from space, those wider driving angles. I just think he's a more complete basketball player. He's a bigger basketball player. He's a bigger playmaker. Go listen to Kyrie talking about the advantages that big playmakers have in tight situations, especially in fourth quarter situations. Who's more clutch? Hang on. Who's more clutch? Historically, who is more clutch?
Historically or in 2017?
That's what we're talking about. Just in
Okay,
after
fine.
16
In
after-
2017, because you're
Yes.
comparing a 25 game sample of one player versus like a full season of another.
Well,
That's
we
not
could do
really
Shai
fair.
season 2 if you think he's practically the same person, unless you think Shai's got much better this year.
I
don't
think
know,
Shai is better.
but substantially better. So was Shai last season a conversation with peak Steph Curry, or has he just got into that conversation with his improvements this year?
I think his conversation was right there. If you're a top 3 player in the league, how are you not in that conversation?
How high do you rank
So then
this?
you can
this
use
version of
the
Shai?
whole season. You can use the whole season of last year as a sample as well. I think. It's
How about that for one more time? One more time, Spill.
How high do you rank this version of
Like
Shai?
where do you think Shai? Where do you think Shai is in the pantheon of players in the NBA today, Penn?
This version of him,
2024, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Where is he?
if he did this thing for this whole career, like if his whole career was just this year times 20, is that what you're asking?
No, I'm asking you in the 24-25 season, in the December of 24-25, in the pantheon of great players in the NBA today, where is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander?
Players today.
I'm not sure how to answer that question. I'm not trying to
Okay,
be difficult.
before you go any
largely-
further, Penn,
go ahead.
let me make it simpler for you. I think Jason Tatum is the third best player in today's game in the pantheon of great players in today's game.
Oh, he's better.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in today's game, where do you see him?
Again, I'm trying to understand how we're
Is Shai a top 5 player in the league
today? Yes.
Yes. Is he
100%.
is he better than Jokic?
No.
Is he better than Giannis?
He's close.
Is he better than Luka?
He's close.
Is he better than Tatum?
Yes.
Okay, so he's at worst the 4th best player in the league. At best,
Is he
the
better
2nd
than
best.
Embiid? Healthy Embiid.
Yes.
I'll take him over Embiid.
At worst, he's the 4th best player. At best, he's the 2nd best player. There you go. That's your answer, Chip. So you can carry on with whatever you want to go. That's his answer.
But you're comparing him to different leagues. So is that version of Steph better than Jokic? Be for real now.
The
Yes.
15, 16.
They just answered yesterday
my
that they
God.
think peak Steph is better than Jokic. They just said that yesterday.
Okay, forget it. It's cool.
I just said I think you're lower on Steph.
Good.
I was asking.
I'm interested to see what TikTok and the YouTube comments think about this because I think you're crazy.
Wow. I mean, 20.
I was asking how high do you have this version of Shai, like historically all time, like 2016 Steph. Mars says that's one of the 15 greatest seasons ever. If you think he's comparable, where do you have this version of Shai 2024 all time?
Better than that.
You think this is one of the 10 best seasons ever?
I don't think Steph's season was one of the 15 greatest seasons ever. So,
I just okay. So you said Steph's top 10 all time, so that obviously factors in the longevity of it all and stuff, right? So if I were just to ask you the 10 best players ever, so longevity not a factor, just this player at their best versus this player at their best throughout all of NBA history.
Yep.
Steph is obviously not in your top 10, right?
nope.
Okay, so would he be in your top 20?
So the best. So you're talking all-time greatest peaks. That's what you're
Yes.
talking, right?
Yes.
Singular year or like a multi-year run?
However he wants to do it for Steph. Like when you view Steph at his best, is that 1 season? Is that 2 seasons, 3 seasons? However you view it. And since he's apparently not better than Shai, whatever the sample is that's not better than Shai, that version of Steph is he a top 20 player in history at their best? Or is that 20 players better than?
I think he's up there. Like this version of we haven't seen this version of Shai for very long. Like this is by far the best version of him that we're seeing this year. It's marginally better than last year. Next year might be marginally better than this year. If next year is marginally better than this year, and we start seeing like the impact on winning, and we see him like consistently number one, and yeah, like I mean, I think you need to have that conversation. He doesn't draw a lot of attention to himself, but that 3-year stretch of his would be up there with the best 3-year stretches of most people's careers. The careers it would not be up with, obviously, are guys like LeBron, Jordan, Wilt, like the top like 6. You know, maybe it wouldn't be up there as a, but Steph does not get on my top 10 because of his singular, you know, 3-year stretch. It's the complete body of work. It's the accomplishments. It's the impact on the game. That's stuff. But I'm not considering the impact of the game when I'm saying straight player versus
Who's
player.
better? Yeah, that's why I wanted to make it clear, because some people are like, you got Steph top 10, but you think like that's why I had to like make the distinction between who's better and like who did more for the game and stuff. So I understand that. I still vehemently disagree with you, but I understand like what you're saying. I just think it's wrong.
Yep.
Like
I have
really
a
wrong.
$25 super chat, and then Penn, we're gonna play a little game because I gotta see exactly how you feel about Shai. And like I said, I'm higher on Shai than I would probably say everybody up here, except for you, Penn. But I want to see just how high on Shai you are. Before we get to that, though, Teddy Hart sent through a super chat. He said Steph is a better 3-point shooter, off-ball scorer, and ball handler. To me, that's where the list ends. SGA is more complete, in my opinion. Steph is God level at one specific aspect of the game and was further enhanced by team talent and system.
That's a good comment.
I never bought into that off-ball scorer thing. Never.
Why?
Because you need the ball to score.
Yes.
No.
So
Yes.
Well, you can't score
No.
without touching the ball, and the moment you touch the ball,
Steph's
you're on
movement
the ball. Like, I
off
get
the
what you're
ball
saying.
creates pockets of space for all other players. When you
So
have a
then
player
that's-
who can run a team off to death, like guys like Steph, guys like Rip Hamilton,
Penn, you
players
don't
like
have
that.
to explain this to Chill. Chill is not a basketball dummy. He doesn't open a basketball dummy one-on-one book.
He said he
Chill knows
doesn't
this.
understand off-ball
No, he
scoring.
knows this. Chill's just having a chill moment for no reason.
No, I'm not having a chill
No,
moment.
he knows
what
like he
Reggie
knows
Miller
what it
does
means.
doesn't make him
he's
a better
just saying
scorer, a
technically
better
you
player.
need the ball to score. That's what
You
he's
do.
No,
saying.
you do, but
Like
you have to get open.
Reggie Miller runs off 17 picks, for example.
Right.
But in order
That's
for
what
him to
makes him
score,
elite.
he has to get the ball.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's
And
what
what-
makes him
gets the
elite.
ball,
That's
he's
what
on the
allows
ball.
him to score.
And
Reggie
what
Miller
you-
wouldn't be
No,
Reggie
and
Miller.
what you
understands that you start off the ball, but he's
Right.
saying in order to score the ball has to physically be in your possession, which means at that point you are on the ball. That's what Chill is saying.
Obviously,
He understands
but
that you
I think
start off the ball
what
in
Chill
order-
is saying is I don't care
Yeah.
how you get the ball or what you do before you get the ball. Do you put it in the hole? And I'm trying to say it does matter how you get the basketball, and all the stuff that you do before you get the basketball disrupts where the defense is.
But I'm
So-
gonna take it even a step further. Everything that you do before you score is what makes you an elite scorer. Allen Iverson's crossover to get into his mid-range or to get to his floater, that's what made him elite. Shaq just being a big physical presence under the hoop made him elite because he was able to post up on anybody and turn around and just dunk on them.
But you're
Giannis
still talking about
Antetokounmpo
on
running
ball.
the floor is what makes him an elite
Ron,
fast break
you
scorer.
haven't, Ron, you're having a Ron moment. Like, what the hell? He's not talking about what players do with the basketball.
I know
Crossovers are
I
with the
get
basketball.
that.
It's not without the
Penn,
basketball.
I get that. What I'm trying to say is, regardless of what Chill's saying, what I'm saying is I value what you do before you score the ball because that is essentially what makes you who you are. If all of these players, if De'Aaron Fox didn't have an elite first step, he wouldn't be De'Aaron Fox.
This has nothing to do with the conversation that he's having about
has
what you do
everything to do
before
with
you
it.
get the ball, not what you do before you score. It's what you do before you get the ball.
I know.
Am I
and
right,
I'm
Chill?
adding- and
That's
I'm-
what you're
and I'm
saying,
add-
right?
and
Where
I'm-
I'm
and I'm-
going.
I'm- and
Okay,
I'm adding
so-
on to that.
Oh
I'm
my
using that
God.
to make. I'm using that to make my point
As an
of.
off-
But
What
your
these
point is
guys do without
completely
the ball-
different. What the hell does what does running off a screen have to do with
Ron, I get what
how
you're saying. Don't
how
worry,
hot
I
sauce
get
your handles are? No, that's not the
Ron,
point.
he not gonna listen to you, man.
Your
Ron, I get what you're saying. I get what you're-
everything influences the game. Your passing ability, like if I know you're a great passer, the fact that you could throw like a no-look dime is going to influence the pass. Like it's going to influence how open your teammates are.
Right.
The fact that you're a great scorer or even a great shooter, like Steph's gravity might be the argument against Shai. what he does to the court and what he does to the other 5 defenders is what I think bends the argument his way. My only reason for pushing this argument is not genuinely because I believe, oh, Shai's better than Steph. It's that I think the conversation should be had. And I think that it's closer than people think because they don't do the same stuff, clearly. But how do you value what Shai does to the interior versus what Steph does to the entire floor?
Mhm.
How do you value how much Shai helps defensively versus how much Steph needs to be helped defensively? These are not similar players at all. Like, they're just not. They're not similar players. They may play the same position, but they're very different players. So it's like you're really talking philosophically. Do you care about the off-ball gravity and stuff? Do you care about how many screens Steph runs off of, what that does to defense? Do you care about all the screens? And then the other point is, do you just care about an isolation scorer who can do a lot of crazy good stuff with the basketball? I don't know.
You think
Yo,
James Harden's better than Steph?
No, because I have a
Better,
bit of a
better-
bias.
Oh,
I
He has a
think
bias, okay.
you know what? I think he's in that conversation too. Peak James Harden was a better playmaker than Steph. He's a better passer than Steph. He's a better defender than Steph. I know people hate that, but the best version. I'm not talking like the absolute. Okay, in fairness, not the absolute cheeks version of James Harden. There was like a couple years where James Harden was like the worst defender ever, and people just really trolled him mercilessly. But there are some values to James as a defender. I'm not saying he's good. Please understand me. I'm not saying he's good. I'm just saying he wasn't terrible. Like his playmaking was very, very special, and his scoring and even the volume of his threes. Yeah, I think he's in that conversation too.
All right, Pin, I got something for you. And before we get into this, chat, I'm running a poll right now. Who better, Prime Steph or Prime Harden? You
Let
guys
me
talk to me.
guess. I know
But-
where this is
So
going.
Steph's gonna win that poll like 95 to
Yeah.
5.
There's no way Harden's winning that, bro.
Well, let's see how many
Mo,
moments we have in
Mo
the
and
chat.
myself are gonna be the only people voting for James Harden.
I think Harden FC might be a little bigger than that.
Let's go,
But
Harden
Pin,
FC. Come on.
I got something for you. We're gonna do an SGA versus the field, and this is historical guards of all time. So I just want to know how many people you have
At their best,
better than-
not longevity
at their best.
included. Just
At
who's
their
better.
best.
Yes,
Yeah.
at their
Peak.
best. Who's better? Yes.
So
Mhm.
this version of
This version of
Shai
Shai versus
that
the best
version of that player.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
All
All right.
Are we all involved or is it just Pen?
I mean, do you guys all want to get involved? You guys can
I wanna
chime.
get
No,
involved.
let's
I wanna
hear Pin. We're just gonna run through the gauntlet with Pin, and then you guys can chime in.
Sure.
Run through the gauntlet. Amazing.
All right, first guy we got for you, Pin. Derrick Rose. SGA versus Derrick Rose. Who you got?
SGA.
SGA versus Jason Kidd.
SGA.
SGA versus Tracy McGrady.
Tracy McGrady.
SGA versus Steve Nash.
SGA.
SGA versus Allen Iverson.
SGA.
SGA versus Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
SGA versus Prime Dame Dollar.
SGA.
SGA versus Prime Russell Westbrook.
SGA.
Mm.
I don't.
last-
I don't even believe that, but I'm saying it. Anyway. I don't
And
care.
last but not least, SGA versus MVP James Harden.
Then this one is not hard,
SGA.
Pen. It's
SGA.
not, yo.
SGA.
Like,
He lost me at Steve Nash. I know he lost Ox at Jason Kidd. Yeah, he lost
Steve
me at
Nash
Steve
was
Nash.
hard. Yeah, that one was tough, Pen.
At least he gave T-Mac the flowers he deserved.
Yes,
So,
T
but-
Mac was there.
Peak T-Mac was crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least
But
T-Mac
that was
got
like
the
a
love and
2-year
D-Wade
peak.
got the love.
So,
But,
Pen, I want to ask you. So, as good as SGA is, again, I mean, because the stuff that we add up, because I know how you feel about, he's a better shooter, he's a better scorer, he's a better distributor. And when I think about 2006, Steve Nash, where is the divide between him and SGA?
Defensively,
There
Okay.
is a divide there. There is a divide.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
now,
as a
Now-
scorer, overall, like I understand Nash could have scored more, but he didn't.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold that against him. because
Sure.
what he did with those possessions instead was become one of the best passers of all time. So, yeah, he was a great shooter. Like I think if Steve Nash can go back on his career, he probably would want to shoot more. I think he'd want to score more, but he didn't.
Who had a
So
better
we got
mid-range game, you think?
Ooh, that's close. But Shai, because he's bigger. I'm gonna give the edge to the bigger player. Just harder to stop.
had a
Is that why you gave the
mid-range
edge to T-Mac? Because he's 6'9"?
Yeah, I value big playmakers.
That's fair. I could get with that.
Shai or Kobe?
It's
Well,
real
shut
close.
this stream down. Don't even.
I know
I'll
the
get-
right
I-
question.
I-
Shai
Ron,
or
don't
Kobe?
say Ron.
We
Kobe.
won't even be here for
Right
the last
question.
hour.
I know
No,
the
we
right
won't
question.
even be here for
Stop,
the last
Ron.
Shai
hour.
or
Like, I
Kobe?
swear.
Shai or
Ron.
Kobe? Shai or Kobe? I
Stop,
know the right
Ron.
questions to
I'm not
ask.
even giving him the opportunity to
No,
answer
we're
that.
not. Don't
He
get him
would-
back,
nah.
Ron.
I
He
said
would
Get him back, Ron.
You will not humiliate us.
Get him back, Ron.
He
Get
said
him
he
back
said
up here,
I
Ron.
said
Nah,
Kobe.
Penn, we're not gonna do that. Nah, we
Get him
not.
back up here.
I
So
said
Penn,
Kobe.
Penn.
Yo, who
Penn.
removed me? It's my show.
Do
It is
you think
close.
like this version of Shai is like one of the best 12 players ever?
I don't think that version of Kobe is one of the best 12 players ever.
Where do you have
A lot
Kobe?
of-
Oh,
in the-
below
he's
Arvidas Sabonis. Yo,
What's
Ron.
going on? Ron, what is happening right now, Ron?
He's in the top
Freedom of
15.
speech.
Y'all just do the show. Me and Penn ain't gonna be here.
Okay.
Nah,
He's
Penn
top
gonna be here.
15.
Penn gonna be here. Penn gonna be
Top
here.
15, bro. Top
Because
15.
you also said that you have Jokic ahead of Shai. You also said that Giannis was ahead of Shai. You said it was close. I'm assuming you're taking Giannis and Jokic ahead of them. So do you have
Peak,
those?
yes, peaks. Like we're conflating.
So you
they're-
have
I'm not
Jokic,
saying
you have
all time.
Jokic, Giannis, and Shai. These three versions of the players. Maybe even Luka. Is Luka a part of that too, or no?
The best version of Luka, so not this
The
season.
best
version of Luka.
is like in the top
Have we
20.
seen the best version of Luka? Have we seen the best
The
version?
best
of
so
Luka?
far. The best so
The
far.
best. So,
Okay.
so you think all four of those players are better than any version of Kobe ever, or Steph Curry too?
So Kobe would be the fourth best player in the NBA today.
Yeah,
Uh,
2006.
Prime, best
Yeah.
best version of Kobe ever is like the fifth best player in the NBA right now.
The best version of Kobe is worse than this version of Jokic, 100%. He's in the conversation. He's like in that conversation with Giannis, Shai, Luka.